Welcome to the
The
Waterboy and Equipment
Waterboy and
Manager.
Equipment Manager podcast.
It's like we
My
couldn't even
name is
get
Saif
5 minutes on
Basaria.
Zoom, could we? This motherfucker. My name is Saif Basaria,
My name is Shaban Samani.
I'm Kaiz Charania.
and we have a special guest with us today. Guest, introduce yourself, man.
Hey everyone, my name is Raheel Bhimani, and I am from Houston. I know these guys from various places. Huge sports fan, have my Houston teams, although it's hard to cheer for them, but still, they're my teams. Also, in connection with them, I have a separate podcast, a sports podcast as well, the assistant to the assistant coaches. Short is Attack Sports, and we also banter about sports as well. So if you have time, please check us out. Other than that, I'm happy to be here and ready to talk some more sports with these guys.
Yeah, Rahul, plug the Instagram so they know where to find you.
Absolutely, yes. Both Instagram and Twitter is Attack Sports. That's ATTAC Sports. So be sure to find us there.
Don't worry,
I
we'll
mean,
link them.
I mean, no disrespect when I say this, but every time you say attack like ATTAC, I think of that joke back in the day where we were like, "Oh, look down your shirt and spell ATTIC." You remember that? It's like spell attic, and then you look down and you laugh like a fucking 5-year-old. That's what I'm thinking of when you say that. I'm so sorry.
Apparently, we're still 5-year-olds. It's fine.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I have no
All
problem
right,
right
Shaban, you gave us the gold of put it in from deep.
now. I mean, that is true.
Let's
That
not
was
forget.
you are the award winner of the most ridiculous thing said on the podcast thus far. In,
Y'all
in
laugh, though.
24 episodes. Yeah,
Well, yeah, we're
because
children.
I'm a 5-year-old. I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. I just want to make sure you know where we stand on this whole topic. But before we get moving, welcome back. I know it's been a couple weeks. A lot has happened in the world, in basketball and personal. I just have to say thank you for bearing with us, working with us, and I think I speak for all of us when I say I'm glad and we are glad to be back. Kay's, plug that Instagram for me real quick.
It is Waterboy and Equipment Manager.
And Shaban, plug that Twitter for me real quick.
It's at Waterboy Manager.
Thank you,
That's
boys.
safe.
And
Hit us with the YouTube.
it is the Waterboy and Equipment Manager podcast on YouTube. You can search us there, and we will be there right away. Right after this thing, it'll be up. So I'm excited for that. Now, like I said, a lot has happened in the basketball world, but we're not going to keep you for 3 hours. You've seen it at this point in every news cycle. You've seen the games. You've seen the stories. So I'm going to make it easy. And we're just going to get started with our weekly segment, which is – that's right, boys. If you don't know, now you know. Now, the most absurd thing to ever happen – not absurd. It's just really breaking. The most breaking news to happen thus far is this morning I woke up and my phone decided to let me know that Steve Nash has signed a 4-year contract with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I say this as a joke, but also semi-seriously. Kaiz is a absolute Steve Nash stan. Like, stan. Like, he will not take any slander.
There's no joke about it.
No jokes
We
about
will
it.
not take any slander.
Exactly. He takes literally zero slander about Steve Nash. So I ask you on the spot, Kaiz, are you now a Brooklyn Nets fan?
Fuck no.
Kaze's love for Steve Nash does not outweigh his hate for Kevin Durant
Yeah.
still.
It's more
It
Kyrie
stops at the
Irving.
Suns.
It's more Kyrie Irving than KD. I can live with KD.
He's like, nah, KD's cool, but as soon as you talk about flat earth, fuck it. I'm out.
Third eye, bro. Third eye.
That boy is like the leader of the Illuminati at this point. Or at least he's trying to be. He's running for elections and he's lost multiple times. Jay-Z's got him beat. But let's talk about Steve Nash becoming the new coach of the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, honestly, how do we feel about it? Obviously, he's got no coaching experience. Last I saw him, he was covering soccer for Bleacher Report and TNT on Champions League, which is pretty fucking cool. And I thought he was really good at it. But what do we think about Steve Nash? Do we think he's going to be a good coach, and why? Tell me why.
I don't really know. I mean, there is a sort of history with like Hall of Fame point guards getting head
Mhm.
coaching jobs without even being assistant coaches first. Like Doc Rivers, Isaiah Thomas, Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr, Jason Kidd.
Yeah, most
So
recently
far-
Jason Kidd. Yeah.
Yeah, most recently Jason Kidd. And
And not Hall of Fame, but still pretty Hall of Fame in my heart, Derek Fisher, which is another example of a guy getting a job with no experience.
yeah, and so far the results have been pretty mixed. You know, it's really difficult to tell like whether this will be a really good scenario for the Brooklyn Nets. And I mean, it'll be fun to see Kyrie getting mentored like get some
I think that's
one-on-one
the
time
biggest
with
thing, right?
one of the best point guards to walk the earth, right? So that's really what we're here for.
Okay, but we're really here for Kaiz's take. Kaiz, give me your fucking take, man. How are you gonna make me wait for it? You know why we're talking about this. Yes, it's Steve Nash. Yes, it's you. Talk to me. What the hell's going on? How do you
I
feel?
mean, I feel great. I
But
love
you're not a
just,
fan, so tell me what the fuck is going on.
all right, look, so I love Steve Nash. I will always love Steve Nash. 1A, 1B, Kobe, Steve Nash in my heart. That's all that matters, right?
It's like much of all of our childhoods, to be honest with you.
True.
Watching them
And
play. I
well,
know Raheel's like, I didn't say 1A, 1AB. I just said watching the guys, okay?
I said in my heart, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
that's fair.
Look, I love Steve Nash, so I will be rooting for the Nets to do good, but I can't consciously make an effort to support Kyrie Irving in any endeavor he participates in
That's
on the
funny.
basketball court.
So do you think Steve Nash will do a good job?
I think he will be a great coach.
What do
He
you think
has
he
a
brings
vis-
to the table
Can I
for
fucking
that team?
finish?
No. What do you think he brings to the table for that team?
I think he brings the knowledge of the game that Kyrie Irving strives to benefit from. Steve Nash is the greatest passer we have ever seen. Yeah, that's right. No to back talk on this one.
I
And if
mean,
we
I
know
just
one
don't. I
thing,
just don't want to piss you off. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying we could have a debate. That's all I'm saying.
we could. We did.
We
Remember
did.
the hot takes
We did
episode?
not. No, we did not. Anyway, keep
All right,
going. You were
so
on a roll.
pretty
You're on a
much,
roll. You're on a roll.
if there's one thing we know about Kyrie Irving, he's not a great facilitator of the ball. Yeah, he can get assists, but it's always almost easy passes. If he learns how to see the court the way Steve Nash saw the court, as in the highlights videos I saw this morning after he got signed, he could turn into something fantastic. Plus, Steve Nash already has a rapport with Kevin Durant as an assistant and a shooting coach for the Golden State Warriors,
Yeah, he was
where
a
he worked
consultant,
almost
right?
exclusively with KD on
Oh, I didn't know that.
perfecting his free throw form and his shooting stroke from deep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
KD learned how to balance his more difficult shots from Steve Nash.
That's pretty cool. All right, Raheel, let's jump to you, man. Do you think Steve Nash is there, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and funny enough, DeAndre Jordan? Does this team look the same today, or sorry, at the beginning of next season as it does at the end of this season?
No, I don't think so.
What do you think changes?
Well, one thing I'll just want to chime in on everything that was said. I think that it's hard. It's going to be very hard for Steve Nash to jump in like this. There's a lot of pressure. Everybody expects Kevin Durant to do well, right? There's an inherent expectation. He already missed this year, so there's like, okay, so when he comes back, the Nets are going to be at the top of the East inherently.
True. Very true.
Right.
Yep.
So, and being a mentor, being a shooting coach is one thing, but then being a head coach, there's much more to it. There's obviously chemistry and there's game decisions and stuff like that. No doubt that he has the capability, but just as a first job, I think it's going to be a little bit more challenging than people expect. As far as like the team, if it's going to look the same, I don't know, because the thing is that you're incorporating two megastars, superstars, however you want to call them, right, into a team that has played most of this year with just a bunch of no names, no significant names. And so just to gel within that, I don't think it's going to be as seamless. There will be some growing pains, but obviously they're playing for the summer. They're not playing for that time. But I just think that it'll just be a lot of growing pains, and people will jump off and on and off the bandwagon more frequently than you'll expect.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that happening. So the most interesting asset that is obviously tradable on that team is, I would probably say, Karis LeVert. Kaiz, is Karis LeVert a Net at the beginning of next season?
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
not for long.
Yeah,
But not for long. So you think he'll start the season, get traded?
Yes, sir.
Why? Well, what changes between the beginning of before the season starts and a little bit after? Well, what do you think is happening? Why is he getting traded after the season begins? Whenever that may be, by the way, we still don't really know.
I think he's just too valuable to where if they keep him, they have to pay him, and he'll be a restricted free agent coming off that deal. But if he plays well at the beginning of the year next year, combined with how he played these past 8 games and through some of the Raptors series, he holds value as a trade piece. And if you package him correctly, which the Nets have been dealing for Bradley Beal, I think it'd be fantastic.
So Karis LeVert's contract actually will kick in at the beginning of next season where he's signed a 3-year, $52 million contract. So he's going to go 16, 17, and 18, 7, so almost 19. So, I mean, he's definitely under team control for quite a while here and could turn, his paycheck doesn't necessarily matter in the game of the next 3 years, right? Shaban, if you got a call, if you're the Brooklyn Nets GM and you got a call tomorrow, okay, not tomorrow, at the end of the season when you can make a trade, right? If you got a call
October 1st,
sure, October 1st, if you got a call and Indiana said, hey, we'll give you Victor Oladipo for Karis LeVert and 2 first-round picks, what do you say?
No.
I asked Shaban. Wait.
I don't care. I answered the question. I know
I'm
Shaban.
not asking you
Every
what.
time Shaban goes, and starts rubbing his soul patch, that's a no.
What do you think? What do you think? Victor Oladipo, and they're going to take Karis LeVert and 2 first-round picks off you for it.
I don't think I would. I don't think I'd take it. Just
What
because.
I tell you.
Well, explain. Come on, explain yourself. Explain yourself. We're no fun
Well,
if
I
we're
mean,
not
like-
talking.
Well, I mean, okay, so Victor Oladipo has started to look pretty good, like towards the end. Like I think it was just the last 2 games of the last 2 games of that Miami series where Victor was starting to get into his rhythm. But as of right now, he's still kind of an unproven product right now. It's just I need to see him after at least after like a half season of action, see if he's like fully healthy again before I even consider like even entertaining a trade for Victor Oladipo.
But is Victor Oladipo worth, let's say Victor Oladipo at like 80%, is he not worth being on that team instead of Karis LeVert?
No.
I think Karis fits in pretty well as a sort of like a 6-man like guy who can bring a scoring punch off the bench.
You want him coming off the bench?
He will come off the bench.
He will come off the bench because
Really?
Spencer Dinwiddie's going to be running the 2,
gone.
right?
He's
But
gone.
think about it like this: Spencer Dinwiddie's only got 1 year left, and he's unrestricted free agent after that. Yeah, he's only got 1 year left after this season. So this season's done for them anyway.
He tried to start a GoFundMe to buy out his contract,
which is absolutely hysterical.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. So he has a player option after next year.
Yeah, which he's most likely going to turn the fuck down because he's definitely better than whatever he's getting paid right now.
Yeah, he's definitely better than $12 million.
I would say so. I think a lot of teams would buck up and put some real money down there. So then tell me, Raheel, where are you at on this, man? Is Victor Oladipo really worth Karis LeVert?
No, absolutely not. And you have to wait. If you have a piece like Karis LeVert, you have to get the right piece, like how Kaiz was saying, you have to package him correctly. I don't think you can jump the gun on this. You have an asset. You can keep him. Obviously, he's under your control, right? Or if their deal is right, whether it's for another big star like Bradley Beal or someone else, you do that. Don't rush it. There's no point.
All right, Raheel, coming back to you real quick. Is Jared Allen a Brooklyn Net by mid-season next season?
Yeah, I think they keep him. I think they stick with him. I think that there's still a lot more raw talent within him to pursue. I don't think that he's all there 100% whatever he can do. So I do think that he stays as a Net.
Shaban, Kaiz, do either one of you guys agree, disagree? Where you guys at on Jared Allen being a Net this, mid-season next year?
The stays in Brooklyn, bro.
You think so?
Yeah, straight Quest love vibes.
Yeah. Jared Allen gets mad love from the Brooklyn. He's just like a fan favorite, right? It'd be really weird to see.
But they brought in they brought in DeAndre Jordan, right? So then
doesn't matter.
What do you,
how's that work out?
Kyrie, bro.
I mean, look at it like this, right? The only reason why I bring it up is because Jared Allen was the starter for the team. Kenny Atkinson got fired, and the very next game, DeAndre Jordan was a starter for the first time the entire season. The very next game after Kenny Atkinson got fired. And you guys remember DeAndre Jordan famously very good friends with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, which is why he got 4 years and $40 million. So, I mean, look, Jared Allen's got 1 more year left on his contract. It's the $4 million. After that, he's got obviously a restricted free agency coming up.
That's why you don't get rid of him.
Because it's 1 year, $4 million, but then he's restricted free agent. So you're going to have to match any offer and then go way into the salary cap.
Look, yeah, but it's not like it's going to be like a big offer, right?
So look,
why not?
If Jared Allen plays fucking phenomenal next year, yeah, sure, he'll get a big offer, but who has
But he won't be able to play phenomenal because he won't be getting the minutes and the starting get minutes, right?
He will get. Watch. Trust, bro.
Trust.
And if he plays bad, you could say fuck it. If he plays bad next year, you could say fuck it.
That's gonna be
$4
my
million.
motto.
I ain't losing nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
All right.
that's my motto
Fine.
my entire life, Shaban.
So what I'm getting from the three of you is it seems like the team will be the team at the beginning of next year. Maybe or maybe not midway through next year, but at least at the beginning, that team will likely be the team that it is now.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds about
Sounds good. Let's move on to another piece of news that we got today. Chauncey Billups looks like he's going to take a head coaching job soon. He's throwing his hat in the ring, and there are a few different openings, and he could very well take a job. How do we feel about Chauncey? I think he falls very much in line with Steve Nash and the Jason Kidds and the Derek Fishers of the world. Very little to no experience at all. A guy that is clearly intelligent and knows probably how to coach a bunch of young guys, right? So, I mean, is there anything different about Chauncey that we would say that we wouldn't say about Steve Nash?
Not as well liked in the NBA.
Really? You think so? I think they're both
actually,
very well liked,
I really like Chauncey. I think
I don't think
Chauncey
you understood my phrasing. We love Mr. Big Shot.
He said in the NBA, as in by the players. We're the Waterboy and Equipment Manager podcast. We're very different.
Look, I love me some 2004 Pistons, bro.
Fuck the 2004 Pistons.
Yeah, I know, but it's my brand of basketball. That's why I love it.
It should be like you see one, two, and then there's like something here. I don't know. It's 2001. Yeah, you get it. There should be another one like right here. It's hard to see. Sorry, I don't have a green screen.
Don't worry, we're gonna add one behind it. Don't worry.
You got it, dog. All right, boys. Let's jump into some of the awards that have come out thus far. Ja Morant, Rookie of the Year, announced today, 99-1. which is just funny. It's so
I need
funny.
to know who put that one vote for Zion Williamson.
Well, we could do some quick Googling and find out because they usually put the record out. But good for him. Ja Morant, well deserved. I don't think anybody's shocked by that news. Nobody's shocked, right? Nobody's shocked by that news, right? Everyone's totally cool with Ja Morant winning. Again, I'd be shocked if you guys were shocked, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
Giannis wins Defensive Player of the Year. Giannis wins Defensive Player of the Year, 75 of the 100 available votes. This is 105.
All right, so hold up. Official out. Ja Morant calls out the coward who didn't vote for him for Rookie of the Year.
Coward? What is there?
Coward?
Ja Morant has been a fantastic rookie, has played the whole fucking year, led his team almost to the playoffs, if not for an unfortunate injury, right? I think it is the easy decision to vote for him. It doesn't make you a coward to not vote for him. It makes you an idiot, but not a coward, I would say. I mean, you're an idiot if you think anybody else is the Rookie of the Year. Ja Morant's been absolutely phenomenal, right? Zion played
but hear me
24
out.
games, if that. That's probably actually
The golden boy.
He will be. I mean, he looked fantastic. Maybe. Giannis wins the Defensive Player of the Year. Again, not a real big shocker. It's something we kind of knew. We kind of expected going into it.
But
I think
they're
anybody
down
else
0-2.
winning. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't you worry. Ingram wins the Most Improved Player of the Year. Again, not really a shocker. It was kind of a toss-up between him and Bam, right? So either one, I would.
You only won by 4 votes.
Yeah, it was close, 42-38. Yeah. You're absolutely right. So I mean,
and then Luka got like 12 first-place votes.
It's an absolute joke that Luka got votes. It's a joke. Come on, are you fucking kidding me?
Potential MVP candidate voted for Most Improved.
Look, I get that going from really good player to superstar is actually a very difficult jump to make, and Luka did do that this year. But come the fuck on, like.
I mean, even Luka said that Devontae Graham deserves to be up there.
Devontae Graham, he deserved it more to be in that conversation, and he doesn't get to be there, which fucking blows. But yeah, I mean, Nick Nurse, Coach of the Year, something we talked about on this podcast, 2 months ago, that he deserves the award, and thankfully he got it. 90 of the votes went to him, so pretty close to overwhelming majority. But honestly, I think that's a good. If you don't know now, you know. Again, listeners, you guys know kind of what's going on in the NBA and the world as we stand. And I hope that you put your money, resources, time, and knowledge where it belongs. Obviously, listening to the podcast, but also the more important things. And I hope your mental health is doing right, because right now it's really, really difficult. But, Kaiz, let's move on to Players Anonymous. It's been a couple of weeks. I think we're all a little bit of rusty. Let's see how we do here.
Right,
now, reminder, by the way, for the listener. That's right here. My hand's right here. He thinks I'm going to cheat because we're back online. That's fair. I probably would have fucking cheated. It's been a hot minute since we got one of these anyway. But just a reminder to the listeners at home that everybody that Kaiz picks, as long as we're in the bubble, will be a player that is in the bubble. So, keep your guesses
And look,
easy.
as the playoffs goes on, my list gets very small to choose from, so
Mhm.
they won't all be great. But I've got a good one today.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
let's see how it
See
goes.
what you got.
Gershon
All right,
Galbuseli.
drafted with the 10th pick of the second round in the 2012 NBA draft by the Portland Trailblazers.
Damian
Nicknamed
Lillard.
the People's Champ.
People's Champ.
Career
Damian Lillard.
averages 11.1 points per game. So
Just
not
kidding.
Damian Lillard.
Not Damian Lillard.
4.2 rebounds, 2.5 assists a game.
Nick
Shoots
Batum.
35% from three, and then 79% from the free throw line.
Shaban, I think that's a good guess. Do you want to say it again?
Nick
It's
Batum?
not. That's why I ignored it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Portland Trailblazer. Did he play as a Trailblazer for at least a little bit?
Probably. Shit, I don't know.
Probably. Fuck
What do you mean? You're
Fuck
looking at it
you.
right
That's some
now.
bullshit.
4 years.
4 years as a Blazer. All right.
So he's no longer a Blazer.
No, clearly not. You said the people's champ. Well, I mean, if he was a Blazer, he would not be Kaiz's choice because Blazers not in the bubble anymore. In all fairness, 11 points a game for the Portland Trailblazers. In 2000, you said 12.
People's champ.
Yes, sir.
2012 second round pick. Does anybody have a pretty good guess here?
You
One
can feel
rookie of
free
the
to chime
year.
in, Raheel. This is for the whole podcast.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking 2012. Who was drafted in 2012? Like
2012, and he's a second round pick, man. 11 points a
10th
game. Is
pick
not,
of the
this is-
second round.
yeah, sorry, yeah, that's not bad, man. 11 points a game. I mean, it's not bad for a career average. 8 years in the league. I mean, I'm not gonna waste time. I don't know, and I don't think I will know. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my towel. I'm waiting on you guys, and then Kaiz can tell us how much of a fucking loser we are at this thing. We're really bad at this shit. Shaban, do you have a guess? Do you have a guess? Do you think you could even potentially have a guess?
I just know of one.
This
Okay.
motherfucker is
I
looking
have
at his
one
screen.
guess.
He is straight cheating. Yeah,
I
conveniently
can
you have
see
one
in his
guess.
glasses.
You're a goddamn cheater is what you are. Go ahead, tell us the fucking
I'm
answer.
sorry.
I
literally
have
looked
one
down,
guess.
started
My ass.
typing, and then told me I couldn't do it.
Yeah, like we have you on
Shaban.
video. I have nothing to look at but your fucking face. So I know what the hell your eyes are at, buddy. Meet my eye line, Jim. Meet my eye line. That's a shout out to our boys at Attack Sports. Meet my eye line. Office quotes. All right, Shaban.
All
What's
right,
the fucking
Shaban,
answer
who is
since
it?
you cheated anyway?
It's Will Barton.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, the People's Champ. That's a good name. That's honestly like a name that you should be proud of. That's a really awesome nickname.
See,
to
this
have.
is why I like the in-person podcast. You fuckers have no
Well,
fucking-
Kaiz, you can thank the Gwinnett County public school system for ruining that shit.
fucking Home Depot.
For those of you that
Hey, it's
don't
not
know,
my fault.
Shaban's fiance is a teacher, and of course, our beloved teachers have to go back and teach and risk their lives every fucking day. And for that reason, we cannot meet in person because it would be irresponsible for us to meet in person, to be quite honest with you. So we're back on Zoom, and that's kind of how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Or maybe we'll get a cure. CNN put out like a breaking news shit yesterday saying we're apparently getting a fucking virus right before election.
I
Cool.
mean, a vaccine.
Sorry, yeah. What did I say?
Virus.
Yeah, we're getting virus part 7 by then. Who cares? That's all
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
saying.
not taking that vaccine.
Look, we're sitting
COVID-20.
the fuck home for the foreseeable future. You guys just get used to it because I have to too. It is what it is. Anyway, let's move on. Or actually, sorry. See, this is what happens when we take 2 weeks off. Let's take a moment to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the basketball playoffs.
Yeah, and if you're on YouTube, just stare at our beautiful faces for a second.
All right, boys, we're back. For those on YouTube, you just got a little bit of a treat of me being an absolute fucking idiot. It is what it is. All right, boys. Basketball has been, look, it's been fucking awesome. It has been
Yes,
so good. We got 2 Game 7s in round 1. We got 1 sweep.
Technically,
one
we
sweep.
got 3
No,
games.
we got
we got 2 sweeps.
3
We got
sweeps.
2 sweeps.
3 sweeps.
3
We got
sweeps.
3 sweeps. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Miami, Boston,
Oh
Toronto.
yeah, that's right. Oh shoot.
yeesh. So, look, we, in all fairness, we did say, and we all basically knew that the East first round was going to suck. We knew that was not going to be great. And breaking news, it wasn't. Cool. We knew the second round, however, of the East should be fucking phenomenal. And thanks to OG Anunoby, It kind of sort of is. And Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, who are just blowing not our minds because we fucking called it, but your minds at home. They're blowing your minds, but we called this shit for a long ass time, and now it's time to be super duper hyped.
It's good to be right.
It does. It does feel good to be right. But before we jump into the second round, even though I really, really, really want to, I know you guys do too. Let's kind of hit on just some of the cool points of the first round. We don't want to waste too much time and go into too much depth. Let's hit on the 2 Game 7s because I think those were the most memorable parts.
Put some respect on Chris Paul and Jamal Murray's names, bro.
Yeah,
put some respect on Lou Dort's name. That boy is a
Donovan
Lou
Mitchell.
Dort. That's
Donovan
fucking
Mitchell.
crazy,
bro. I think the biggest
but
winner.
he lost.
Let's do this. Let's go through it. I think this will be fun. Who are the biggest winners of the first round?
The Lakers.
Definitely. No. We're talking players, right? Definitely Jamal Murray. Definitely Donovan Mitchell. Definitely Lou Dort, who has proven a lot from being an undrafted nobody to being a legitimately good player who could probably start for a lot of basketball teams tomorrow.
Duncan Robinson.
Tyler
Robinson
fucking
is a
Harrow.
hooper.
Tyler Harrow has
Harrow.
been a absolute winner of the playoffs so far. I mean, look,
Jason
those are
Tatum.
kind of the guys. The Jason Tatum, surprise, he's pretty good at basketball.
Yeah.
We kind of
Fred
we saw that
VanVleet.
coming. In the first round, yeah. I guess
in the first
we're
round. In
letting-
the second round, he's
yeah.
kind of lost his rhythm.
Well, we'll get to the second round. We're discussing first
We'll
round.
get there.
Kaiz, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
For Fred VanVleet has been fucking phenomenal. I mean, look, the first round was so long ago. Honestly, I don't know how much I care to talk about it because we have moved on and we are in hopefully much better basketball games. But huge shout out to the Thunder taking the Rockets to no fucking business going to Game 7 and
Yeah,
somehow they
y'all
got to
got
Game
us a
7.
week off, bro.
Yeah,
I love
no.
you.
I mean, yo,
A
as a Laker fan, thanks.
0.2% chance of actually
Make the
making the
playoffs.
playoffs, and they took Houston to 7 games, and that's
Houston,
No,
yeah,
they
a
took them
legitimate-
down to the wire in 7
It was-
games.
Absolutely. A fucking heater. Raheel, just quick 2 seconds. How do you feel about a Rockets fan? Obviously, now you've won, so you can breathe easy. But how did you feel throughout that series? Going through it and being a Rockets fan. How did it feel? Like, where is your head at? Where was your head at? Now your head is onto the Lakers, but that's besides the point.
Same. It was like it's the same story, just a different year. Honestly, that they just underperform, right? Like they get you hyped. They won the first 2 games. Nobody saw the first 2 games without Russell Westbrook winning, and then they're like, okay, so we're like, okay, we felt good. We felt really good about it, and then it's just the same story. But it was very tough. I was already in my mind preparing for complete disarrayment after yesterday's game. Didn't expect
Sounds
them to
like
win.
a Houston fan.
Yeah, no.
Wait,
I
so
mean,
you were mentally prepared to lose that game?
absolutely, because the thing, you just have to figure out, you just have to see the storyline. It was all building up to one thing. It was just building up to a perfect story. The interview that Chris Paul did after Game 6, it was just set up perfectly to play out just like that.
Well, for the
And
listener
then-
at home
But
who's
you guys
listening to
got the
this
trump
a
card.
week, yeah. Well, for the listeners at home who are listening 3, 4, 5 days after that Chris Paul interview, what did he say? What did he say that felt like a slap?
Some people are made for the moment. Some people shy away from it. It's just that simple, And it's kind of ironic because so there's 2 parts to it. Game 7, he had the ball in his hand, right? I mean, he had the ball at the last moment, and then it didn't come out the way that he probably wanted it to happen.
Definitely.
For various reasons, right?
I
It
could
was.
probably bet a lot of money saying Chris Paul probably saw that going very differently.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out the way he wanted
One
to.
reason
I think
I'm
he would have lived with
confused
missing
is-
that shot himself.
No, that would have been fine, but why didn't he shoot the free throw?
Exactly.
See, that's a good point too. I don't
Yeah,
understand why he
right?
didn't shoot
Like,
the free
why
throw.
was it Gallo that shot that free throw?
And by the way,
I
Gallo
get-
was
yeah.
not having the best game of his
No.
life or even close.
Series.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had Game 1 was fantastic, and then since then he was very not Gallo. To be
Yeah.
quite honest with you, he was very bad.
And then also, the SGA has been really on and off this whole series.
SGA looked like he did not belong in the basketball playoffs. The Rockets went out of their way to switch to him and attack him defensively. And offensively, he was an absolute basically nothing. It is not his fault. He's a young kid. He's fucking
It
21
looked
years
like
old.
Lou Dort
so it-
took over SGA's talent, bro.
I mean, seriously, man, the Rockets did a
Mhm.
really good job of showing SGA what he needs to work on this summer. And there's a lot of things he's going to work on. By the way, he's 21. It's cool. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
No big fucking deal.
Step number 1.
But yeah, the
stop
Rockets
being
did a really good
bitch.
job. Yeah, the Rockets did a really good job killing his confidence. There's no doubt about that.
And
They attacked him. I mean, they literally attacked him as much as they possibly could.
Yeah, but they also gave Lou Dort much more confidence than he actually really needed.
Yeah, they just completely disrespected Lou Dort. They just left him wide open, and he
Can I
just
just
started
say
chucking up threes.
one thing?
Yes, please.
Why did this motherfucker not pump fake?
Oh, the Lou Dort on that last
Yeah.
possession.
I think that you and I know the answer. He's an undrafted rookie.
I don't care.
He hasn't been in the league long enough to know what the right play is in that very moment. By the way, some of our best players in the league might not have pump faked in that moment. If it was the other way around, James Harden may not have pump faked. LeBron James may
Yeah,
not
but
have pump
James
faked.
Harden would
It
have
could
hit
have
that
happened.
shot.
I mean,
Yeah.
James Harden would have got that foul.
Maybe not yesterday.
I
But
mean, yeah,
normally
it
he
wasn't
did that
his best
shot.
game yesterday, but guess what? It doesn't fucking matter because when it mattered, the boy made the play. So yeah, offensively not great, but he made the play when it mattered most. And then he's the king of dodgeball because holy shit, most guys would have got hit by that
That
ball.
was a
That
great
man,
That was a
dodge, bro.
crazy play.
what's Kaiz? What is it like the 5 Ds of dodgeball? What are they? Do you
All
remember?
right, so in the great words of Patches O'Houlihan,
Oh my god.
dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge.
I fucking love it. And James Harden was like, I got this.
If you can dodge a
fucking
wrench,
love it.
you can dodge a ball.
Well, James Harden proved it yesterday. He knows how to fucking dodge a ball. Good for him and good for the Rockets. Now they moved on. Now I think we're done talking about the first round.
What
It
an
was cool.
underrated
It was fun.
movie. Holy
Dodgeball
shit.
is so awesome. What is it? Who's underrating dodgeball? Dodgeball was great.
The movie is underrated.
It's one of the
Yeah,
best
it's a
comedy
great movie.
films
What
that
the
I've
fuck?
ever
What
seen.
the
classic.
fuck is?
That's a joke. Anyway, let's move on to the second round of basketball. The second round, it's kind of weird because we're 3 games into the Raptors-Celtics series when we record this, and yet the Lakers-Rockets series hasn't even started yet. But it's cool because we get basketball every day, basically 2 games a day or if not more. So it's been good. I don't really hate it, but it is going to be kind of weird. And hopefully they figure out this whole little rest thing once we get to the later rounds. Let's jump into the series that has been the most entertaining because they play the most games. I don't know. The Raptors-Celtics, the Raptors are down 2-1 thanks to an absolute beast shot by OG Anunoby, motherfucking cold-blooded,
All right.
and a great pass by Kyle Lowry. What the hell's going on in this
How did he
series?
get that off?
Yeah,
Taco
I
Fall
know.
is 7'5" with a 10'8" wingspan.
Kyle
Kyle
Lowry's good
Lowry
at
got the
basketball.
perfect
Yeah.
rainbow pass across.
that was
Kyle
a-
Lowry is good at basketball. Dude, that ball was so perfect. I mean, it couldn't have been better placed considering the circumstances.
Yeah.
The guys take like 0 steps to catch the ball, basically right in his shooter's pocket to take that shit. And it worked. Anything else in that shot probably wasn't going to come off as cleanly. Kyle Lowry,
Oh, no. Because
Fantastic
you only had
pass.
half a second.
quite literally
Yeah.
a half a second. So
Speaking of which,
what's
like-
going on? Why are the Raptors down 2-1? What the fuck is going on with the Raptors and why are they down 2-1? Somebody tell me what the hell's going on here.
It starts and ends with Pascal Siakam.
I would
just
absolutely
not.
agree with you.
He has just not been the same. Even like in the last series.
So the
against,
spicy turned into
Brooklyn.
mild?
Yeah, you can say that.
That was weak. That was weak.
Yeah,
was
it's
weak
mild
sauce.
sauce. It's not strong at all.
No, that was a disappointing ass joke. Is it Pascal Siakam's been bad or is it Jaylen Brown has been doing a fucking shift on that kid?
Well, I mean,
Both?
it could be both, honestly.
Yeah, porque no los dos.
Yeah. But if Toronto really wants to make some more noise in the playoffs, like Pascal Siakam's got to do better. OG Anunoby's been really good. Kyle Lowry, we saw this game. He started to get a lot more aggressive, started looking for a shot more. Fred VanVleet has been looking for a shot more too.
Both those
He
guards
hasn't
have
had
been
a lot of
okay.
success.
Yeah, both those guards
Yeah.
have been okay in this series so far. I don't like calling them good because they've been okay, to be honest. Kyle Lowry's made some timely plays, but in the series he's been okay. And so is Van Heat. He's not the same guy he was last series for sure.
Yeah, this was
No,
this was
he's
the
got his
one
family
game.
in town
This
now.
last game, this last game, game 3 was when like Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry actually like showed out. Kyle Lowry had 31, Fred VanVleet had 25. He had like 5 threes. Pascal Siakam though, he had like he only attempted like 15 shots and he got
I had
16 points from
17
it.
points, bro. Come on.
Well, Raheel, what are
Yeah,
you
no.
seeing, man? What's going on with the Celtics and why are they so much better than seemingly so much better than the Raptors right now?
Okay, I will say that the last 2 games have been actually pretty close. So the first game was probably like a good check that the Celtics are for real. But then I'm not saying the Celtics aren't for real. I like the Celtics. I actually on my side I actually picked the Celtics to get to the finals. But I do think that you need especially in the bubble, but in the playoffs, you just need one. I think this one will kind of put the Raptors back on track. You just need to get over the hump, and they got it. I think that they are still talented, even though there have been some, like, Siakam hasn't played well. The team, overall, there's been pieces here and there. I think that this one, now you'll see the adjustments that they make for game 4, and we're probably going to have a different series. And whenever, we all come back or whatever it is, we'll probably have much more to talk about in positive vibes and talk about this as being one of the better series rather than just one that just gets swept away.
Yeah, I mean, Kaiz, as far as the Celtics go, they have been the quicker team to adjust in this series, even though they really haven't needed that much adjustment, to be honest. I mean, literally a god shot from OG Anunoby is why this series is 2-1 and not 3-0, and we're talking about what are the Celtics going to do in the next round. So what are the Celtics doing right, and what do you potentially see them
So my
not
take
doing
on
right?
that is the Celtics had a quote-unquote tougher time in the first round where they played a very talented team in the Sixers, whereas the Raptors played the Nets. So
Interesting. That's an interesting take at it. I like that. Tell me more. How does this
So pretty
affect
much-
them now?
So they were already in a lock-in mode when they played because Embiid can single-handedly win games for his team. Plus, the rest of the team,
But okay.
he didn't.
He can make it more competitive. I agree with you, and he
Yeah.
should have, but he was disappointing.
So they had to play better to keep up on their pace to beat them in a handy fashion, which they did 4-0. Embiid was pissed. But when you play a team like the Nets, who are basically starting kids that don't play in the regular season, it's not really a challenge, so you're kind of coasting.
That makes sense. That's
Then
very. No, I mean,
very
you're absolutely right.
deep.
Kaiz or Shaban, how much do you think home court? The Raptors and Celtics obviously both have great home courts. How much are the Raptors missing their home court, and does it fucking matter in this series?
Toronto fans are extremely passionate, and we saw that plenty in full when they won the championship last year. So, that home court feel of having the backing of your fans behind you, you don't really get that here in Orlando, right? I mean, yeah, you get like the virtual
But nobody
fans.
does. But nobody does.
Yeah.
So does it
But
really
nobody
matter?
else does. Yeah. So it is a level playing field, so to speak. But some teams really rely on that support from the crowd to really sort of push them. Sort of find their next gear. Case in point, Philly. Philly is a really great home court team, and
They're
it
shit
was
on
just
the road.
and they're just really bad on the road just because they
I mean,
really
apparently
need
they're
that
shit in
Philly
neutral.
crowd.
Fuck the road. They're shit in neutral environments too
Well,
because
it's
they got swept
technically
in
a
the
road
first round.
game.
Just second road game for both teams. So, Raheel, tell me, what do you think is going to happen? Game 4, who's winning?
I gotta go with Toronto, man. I want to make this a series. I think
Okay,
that
they're tying the series up. Shaban, where you at in Game 4?
I think Toronto's taking it.
Okay, Kaiz.
I lean Toronto as well.
Wow, you guys all. I mean, I'm kind of on the same boat. The momentum is big. Raheel just talked about it 2 seconds ago. The momentum from what just happened tonight is gonna carry them over, and I think they'll probably tie it 2-2. But how do you think the series goes? Where are we at on that?
I think
I'm
I'll
gonna
take
say-
the Celtics in 6.
I think the
Oh, okay.
Celtics in 7.
Raheel, where you at on that one?
Celtics in 7.
Okay, cool. I think, man, I really don't know. I still think the Raptors will win this thing in 7 games. I said that before. I'll stick with it now. I think that Toronto, they are keeping the last Game 2 and Game 3 have been tight when their best fucking player has been shit. And he can't possibly be shit the entire – I mean, he could. He very well could. But I don't think he will be shit the entire series. Another guy that's been slept on in this entire series, probably for good reason, but unfortunately, Norman Powell was a 16-point-per-game scorer throughout the regular season. The homie isn't even doing anything in the second round of the playoffs. He has to get more playing time. He's got to get more shots. And the big reason why they're not playing him is because he's not as good a defender as OG Anunoby is. I get that. And OG Anunoby's probably solidified more minutes for himself after a god-tier shot from tonight. But Norman Powell has got to get on the court more. He is a fantastic offensive threat. And the one thing the Raptors are struggling with right now is offense. They could use guys who can score the bucket. They can
And
score
their
the ball.
defense doesn't look nearly as threatening as it did before either.
But it's not terrible, right? Like Ryan talked about it. Game 2 and 3 have been close, extremely close.
Yeah, it was really just Game 1 where they just kind of let them run away with it.
And I want to subscribe to the notion that Kaiz brought up a great point. They just weren't ready. The Raptors played a schoolyard team. They played a team that was not on anywhere near basketball playing level, and so they just weren't ready. I think that's a great fucking point, and I think that's probably where the Raptors are at.
Just a weird thing about this series, the Celtics average almost 18 and a half turnovers per game in these 3 games.
Okay,
The Raptors are down at 13.
interesting.
Oh.
Interesting. Well, the one thing the Raptors have definitely struggled with in this series is their 3-point shot. And I think that's probably what's happening here. They're probably
They're
getting 5 more
28% from
turnovers.
3.
There you go. They're probably grabbing 5 more turnovers, but they're not converting them into buckets because they're shooting
So
threes. And
they're
just not going in.
struggling from 3 and the free throw line. They're 73% from 3 in the series.
And I
They
don't
were
think
an
that's going to stay.
80% team in the season.
And I don't think that's going to stay that way. The Raptors are a good basketball team. That's why I think they're going to win this series in 7 games. Because their 3-point shooting cannot possibly be 28% the entire series. It could. I just don't believe that it will be. Right? I keep saying it could because I'm trying to hedge my bets here. That's really what's happening. I'm hedging.
Yeah. I don't think you'll find like a more evenly matched series
Fun
than
fact,
like the Rockets and the
Marcus Smart
Rockets and the
averages
Celtics.
5 turnovers a game.
Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
He
That's not very
averages,
smart of him.
That was also in poor. That was poor, man. Oh, that was poor.
But to make up
Kaiz
for
sits
it,
him
he
up,
hasn't
knock
missed
him
a
down.
single free throw.
On the bright side,
Hey, there you
listeners,
go.
Kaiz and Shaban have not lost their rhythm in 2 weeks out of the game. They're right back and they're shooting them from deep. They don't give a shit.
Shoot or shoot, baby.
All right, let's move on to the other Eastern Conference matchup. The Bucks are down 0-2 to the Miami Heat. So is Giannis leaving? I'm just kidding. What the hell is going on in this series? Why are the Heat up? Why are the Heat up 2-0? I mean, look, I can't say
3
enough
words.
times.
3 words.
I mean, we fucking called it, but yes, Case.
Jimmy fucking Butler.
Well, tell me what Jimmy Butler is doing and what he's doing that has allowed them to be up 2-0 in the series.
All right, so look, he scored 40 the first game. He had 12 the second game, so it's not by any means he's taking over offensively.
Mhm.
What Jimmy does better than I think anyone else in the league, he fights for the ball no matter where the fuck it is. This man reads passing lanes like it's no one's business. He knows where the ball is going before you throw it, and if he can, he'll take it from you. And then if there's a loose ball, I know one motherfucker that's going to be on the ground for it.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy is rubbed off on this team quite well because Jimmy is putting in the hustle, but so are the other guys. The other guys look fantastic. I'm sorry, Shaban. What were you going to say, man?
No, I was saying that, very rarely do we use the term genius for somebody, especially on the defensive end. But I would classify Jimmy Butler as a defensive genius because
Savant
he doesn't.
is the word
yeah.
you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. He had 3 steals last game, and they're all really big plays.
Yeah, he's
and they're
averaging
just-
2.5 steals a game for the series.
It's crazy.
That's just ridiculous.
And also just how deep that Miami team is. Like 7 players were in double figures in game 2 against Milwaukee. Tyler
It's
Hero.
kind of weird that
Bam Adebayo.
last 40 seconds of game 2 took almost 15 minutes to play out.
So I'm glad you brought that up because holy hell, what the fuck was with that officiating?
That was crap.
What is with officiating in general right
It
now?
has been so
It's
damn bad.
Absolute garbage. Like
so-
Kyle Lowry got
it's been-
kneed in the nuts today.
But
and
it
they
has
didn't
not
call
been
an offensive foul.
it has not been more egregious than it was in last night's game.
Oh, definitely.
It was
Like, Jimmy
absolutely
Butler had-
egregious.
Jimmy Butler knocked down 2 free throws to win the game, like with no
With
time
no one
left.
else there.
I don't
Well,
think
all
I've
right, you
ever
guys-
seen
you
that
guys-
before.
You guys want to talk about Jimmy Butler, but Chris Middleton getting that 3 free throws off of what was definitely not a foul in the
Oh,
slightest
yeah.
at all. Not even, I mean, god damn, it's been nuts. Raheel, what were you going to say, man? I know you were trying to chime in here.
No, so just about like why they're up 2-0, just real quickly about Butler. I feel like it's not just defense, not just offense, it's his heart, right? He has mirrored Eric Spoelstra's mentality on the court, on giving it all, and he's influenced his players like that. So I think that's what we're seeing. Probably going to see more of it going forward as well. Now, the foul that you were just talking about, okay, as a Rockets fan, I know they try to draw the 3-point fouls. I know what a 3-point.
No. The phrasing you were looking for is I know a foul when I see one, and I always see one.
I always see a foul, and they don't get them. But what happened there? You can't be any more straight up and down with your hands up. His hands weren't even arching anywhere, just straight up. And if you go like there, and he wasn't in his way, so I think that was Mark Davis was the ref, I believe, and he made a mistake by calling that. He had to call the second one, and that's just essentially what it came down to.
There was also some shit officiating in the Thunder game too.
The Thunder Rockets game was an atrociously officiated game, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
like,
that Kaiz has a lot to say. I'm sure Raheel
I-
has even more to say.
I don't. But I'm just saying,
But look,
bad
I hate to do
officiating
this,
has been
but we're
prevalent in the bubble.
Yeah, we're done with round one, man. Let's stick to this 2-0 series.
We were in
Miami Heat.
round two. I'm just saying it's been bad.
So the Miami Heat have done something that
Oh, can I just say one bad thing about Jimmy Butler?
no, I love Jimmy. Why would you say bad?
I
You
do
love Jimmy.
too.
Why would you say a bad thing? No, say it. Go ahead.
He
Get
needs
it
a
out.
fucking haircut.
okay.
He needs a
Get a
fucking
haircut.
I like his. Whoa, I like his hair. I think he needs to fix the mustache. The mustache
I do
is
not
insane.
like his mustache.
So look,
The
the
mustache
hair
is
is
insane.
fine,
I like
but
his
you
hair.
got to
His hair
get it
looks good.
lined up at least.
I think Jimmy is so like in tune, like locked in. He does not give a shit about nothing else, and I love that.
My
I love
favorite
as
Jimmy
a
Butler quote from this week. They asked him why he didn't invite anybody. This is a business trip. I don't need family here.
that was the most badass shit.
Dude.
Like dead ass Kobe is in heaven smiling. He's like, that guy gets it. That guy gets it. But it was absolutely. I literally heard Jimmy say it, and I was like, I already liked you. I like you a little bit more now, Jimmy. I like you just a little bit more.
We stand Jimmy Butler.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But what else is going on? Jimmy Butler's been good or fantastic. Cool. Giannis is the league MVP. He's the two-time. Well, not yet, but he likely will be, and he likely will be the two-time league MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. Raheel, what's up? What's going on with Giannis and the Bucks?
So I will caveat this and say that I won't be one that will ever hype up Giannis. Okay, so I will say that. But with that,
That's
I
what.
will.
By the way, for the listeners who may not have gotten that, he's a Rockets fan. He's a James Harden fan, which is why I gave him the Giannis question because they don't really like each other very much, and I think that's hilarious.
Definitely do not.
Or
I
are
do
we
respect
talking
his
about
game.
that peg to the face from last year?
It goes so much deeper than that, but we won't get into it. If you really want to know what's going on, listener, just Google Giannis James Harden feud. I'm sure somebody from somewhere has written a nice long article about it. We're not going to go into much detail, but that is why I'm glad that it is not lost on you, Raheel.
Searching
Why
right
I
now.
asked you to speak on Giannis
Something
specifically.
about running and dunking.
No, man. I mean, look. The thing is that you have to see what they're doing defensively to him, right? They're putting him in a position where he can't just run over the Heat. Like, he can't run over the Heat players. There are more hands. It's like a scheme that they're doing. It's not just something that's very black and white that he can see through. I also think that there is a little bit more pressure on him. He needs support from his team, which I feel like it hasn't fully been there consistently. I know we've talked about like Chris Middleton being that second guy, being the guy that deserves a lot of money. But the thing is that
28 and 23 in game 1 and 2. He's not disappointed.
This beef is hilarious. Oh my god.
Case is just now reading on it. He's like, what am I missing out on? No, but Raheel, 28 in game 1, 23 in game 2. It's not like Middleton's been bad by any means.
No. That's
been better than last season, that's for sure. Last playoffs.
Yeah, but you look at the game 1, Giannis had 18, right? So, and in game 2, I believe he had more than 30. I don't remember the stat
He
line
had
exactly.
29 points. I got it up.
Yeah, 29. I just feel like that he's seeing different things. He hasn't been able to do what he has been able to do against other teams. And I had a feeling I guess I wasn't as bold as y'all to pick Miami to beat the Bucks. I just felt like the Bucks were a better team from top to bottom. I just don't think the full team has come to fruition yet, and a lot of blame is going on Giannis. That's how I see
look,
it.
the Bucks.
So to be fair, we caught a lot of shit for being so high.
We got a
on Miami.
lot of shit for being as bold as we chose.
Even
to be on
from
that team.
Miami Heat fans, that they were like,
Which is just absurd to me. We're choosing your fucking team.
they're
I'm
like,
sorry
yo,
that we
you're
have bigger
too
balls
high
than
on our
you do on your
team.
own fucking team. That's not my problem. That's a you problem.
But one more thing. Hold on. Before you go on, one thing that I want to throw out to y'all, because as some of y'all are Hawks fans as well, so you've seen Mike Budenholzer as a coach, And him coaching the Bucks now, I have a beef with other coaches not being able to perform in the playoffs, because what happens is that a lot of heat comes back to my team, and when we don't get past the playoffs, a lot of fingers get pointed to Mike D'Antoni or whatever it is. I just feel like there needs to be like a broader scope of like, let's look at everybody. Let's not focus on the narrative and focus on one team.
Can I address that real quick?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Sure.
D'Antoni doesn't get that just for the Rockets. As we stated at the beginning, I'm a Steve Nash stan. D'Antoni had a rough time getting Steve Nash and the Suns anywhere too. And what it comes down to is that short rotation they run, it's not ready for the playoffs unless you have conditioning like the Heat do. Their culture is literally, we are going to work harder than every other motherfucker on the court, and we're going to be running when you stop running.
Right.
So here's my thing about Coach Bud.
Hold on. So that's fair. But then the same thing, if you want to talk about Mike D'Antoni's Suns, talk about Mike Budenholzer's Hawks. He had a solid 5 players, right? He had a solid 5 players at that time. They were solid. And he didn't get past the Eastern Conference Finals. And now we're sitting with the Bucks. Last year they didn't get past them. I don't know if they're going to get to the finals.
In all fairness, that Hawks team
the Hawks are from Atlanta.
Yeah,
no. All bullshit aside, in all fairness, that Hawks ran into LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's what really happened. They ran into what would be a team that was dynastic that just didn't win. But more importantly, let's talk about Coach Bud and the fact that they're down 0-2 in this series. Here's my thing with Coach Bud. Something that we've noticed over the years. When you come to the playoffs, every team is notorious for doing one major thing. You reduce the rotation. You're not running 10 guys out there. In Game 1 and Game 2, Coach Bud has ran 10 guys out there. I don't understand why. Why are you running so – Marvin Williams ran 22 – Marvin Williams has run 22 minutes in Game 2 for the Milwaukee Bucks, having scored 4 points and 1 of 6 from the field. Marvin Williams was cut by the Charlotte Hornets, not because they loved him so much. He is not a very good basketball player anymore. It is what it is. That's okay. But Coach Bud had a great basketball team for the regular season. And once again in the playoffs, thus far, it could change, but thus far has shown us that reducing rotations shows that your quality just isn't as good as you thought it was. You just haven't built a team that is good enough to compete in the playoffs. Because, by the way, the guys coming off the bench, George Hill, Kyle Korver, Pat Connaughton, Dante DiVincenzo, and Marvin Williams. None of those guys are bad players. None of those guys scare the crap out of me. Just being honest with you. They just don't scare the crap out of any opposition, especially the biggest balls in the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat, who are scared of absolutely nobody. It's absurd. Miami's defense on Giannis and that team, but specifically Giannis, has been fantastic. And for that reason, I give the whole Heat a round of applause, but specifically Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo has given everybody a playbook on how to guard Giannis Antetokounmpo and how you won't stop him, but you can absolutely get in his way and frustrate the living shit out of him. 9 of 13 in Game 2 from the free throw line for Giannis, 4 of 12 from the free throw line in Game 1. Giannis has not been a very good free throw shooter the whole year, his whole career, and that's okay. But guess what? You're missing, buddy. You lost by 2 points in Game 2, and you missed 4 free throws.
And
I wonder why.
To that, Bud sat Giannis in the fourth quarter. Giannis came out at 7 minutes and 15 seconds.
Jokes.
Did not check back in until 4 minutes and 28 seconds left.
The other thing
cannot sit the potential MVP of this year and last year for 3 minutes in the fourth fucking quarter of a playoff game.
Absolutely absurd. Coach Bud has not made any real adjustments thus far in the second round of the playoffs. He has followed the exact rule book he followed the entire regular season. Giannis and Chris Middleton averaged 30 minutes per game. Now they're averaging 35 or 36 minutes per game. I'm sorry, but in a close game against the Miami Heat, when the chances of 1-1 and 0-2 are right there, Giannis is playing 43 minutes. He's got to be playing that many minutes. And the biggest thing that the Miami Heat have done that I've noticed, and I think you guys have too, they've done a fantastic job about getting Giannis into foul trouble early, very early. Giannis was like midway through the second quarter, has already had 3 fouls, which means he's got to sit out. You cannot have the best player on the team have 3 fouls that early in the game. And it's not necessarily Giannis's fault, but the Miami did a fantastic job getting in his way and really pissing him off and drawing fouls. And it's made their life a lot easier because Miami has outscored the Bucks in both first quarter. Oh, nope, I lied. First quarter and then the second quarter of the game so far.
Yeah, well, this game 3 coming up, and it's pretty much a do or die game, right? You know, it's
Without a
game
doubt.
3.
Yeah,
Without a
if
question
they
of a
don't
doubt.
win, I think it's a sweep.
Yeah, if
I
they
even
don't
think it
win,
goes
then it's like the nail in the coffin. Like Mike Budenholzer has got to show some adjustments to this Miami team and how they play, how they're able to contain Giannis. I know we say contain Giannis, but he had like 28 in the last game, or like 25 in the last game.
I mean, 28 is cool, but 28 probably isn't enough if you're Giannis, to be honest with you. 28 is fantastic for most players. If Chris Middleton got 28, I'd high five him. But Giannis with 28 is right at, I would say, the lowest bar of what is acceptable from Giannis in a potentially 0-2 game. Let's put it that way.
All right. I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but I just want to pull your guys' opinion on there's like that one quote by Giannis about, someone, I think it's some reporter asked him, did you ask to get switched onto Jimmy Butler? And he said, no, why would I do that? So I want to see, like, what do you guys think about that?
My 2 cents, I think Wesley Matthews played him great the second game.
I mean,
And
true.
the numbers show that. But I do think in crunch time, everyone knew where the ball was going.
Mhm.
I knew that play was going to be a down screen for Jimmy Butler to come to the baseline 14-foot jump shot. And I just watched the game. These guys play it. These guys have all the film available in the world. Miami runs that play almost 8 times a game.
Isn't it ironic that Giannis decided on the very last play of the game to come and help defense on Jimmy Butler, and he's the one that fouled him? No, but seriously, I want my best player to guard their best player, especially in crunch time, especially when he's the defensive player of the year. I like that.
That's the job,
from
right?
Giannis. But here's the thing about Giannis that I will say. Giannis seems like a really, really – by the way, you know the fucking – who was he? The guy commentating on Game 1 called him Giannis.
Yeah.
Giannis. Knees. Are you kidding me? This is a joke. Joke. Anyway, no. And by the way, nobody corrected him the whole game. Nobody. Come on. Anyway,
if with that particular announcer, he does that like every single time he calls like a Bucks game.
And by the way, this is why I usually watch basketball games on mute. Because these guys are fucking annoying sometimes. Except for like Doris Burke, who's been absolutely fantastic.
Can we get Doris Burke on every game?
Right?
Yeah,
Mike Breen is still Mike Breen, so we work with it. It is what it is. But anyway, here's the thing about Giannis. My 2 cents on it is he is a fantastic superstar, one of the best players in the league. Some would say the best. If not the best, he's a top 2, 3, whatever guy in the league. But I think in his head, he's not that guy yet. And I say that because the question that was posed to Giannis was, did you ask Coach Bud to go do X, Y, Z, right? The LeBrons and Kaiz of the world don't ask the coach if I'm going to go best player. I'm just going to go fucking do it. I'm just going to go fucking do it. I'm not asking my coach for permission. I'm telling coach, hey, by the way, I'm guarding the best fucking player, right? James Harden did a great job yesterday. I don't think he asked to guard Lou Dort on that side of the ball. LeBron James did not ask in game 1 against the Clippers of the seeding games, can I guard Kawhi in the fourth quarter in the last 5 minutes? They just do it. Yeah. They just do it, right? And Giannis does not just do it, at least not yet. And so that's why I think I'm not saying he doesn't think he's a really good
Nike-sponsored athlete.
Right, facts. But so that's why I say it with some caution. I'm not trying to say he's by any means not mentally there, but the question was
like it.
You right? You know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't feel like he thinks he's the man. Maybe he is the man on that team, but he doesn't feel like he's the man in the league. And I think that that's a big difference in mentality, at least to me. That would be my thinking of what my thoughts are on that one. But let's jump to, before we get out of this series, we played the if game. We've played what has happened. Let's talk about what will happen. What do you guys think? How's this series going to conclude? Where are we at? Shaban, you want to get started?
I'm going to say Miami in 7.
What?
You think they're going 7?
Yeah, I think they're going 7.
Holy
I think
shit.
Mike
No. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm only shocked because we just spent the last, 15 minutes praising the Miami Heat, talking about how fantastic they've done, and then you're telling me the Bucks are going to win the next 3 out of the next, 6 games.
4.
Which is just crazy to me. It is what it is. But anyway, Raheel, what do you think, man?
Miami in 6.
Okay. Kaiz?
I'll take Miami in 5.
I'm gonna
Ooh.
go. I'm gonna go Miami in 6 as well. I think that I would be shocked if we don't get one of those Giannis 50-point games soon. And quite
I mean,
frankly,
we're due for it, right?
we're due for a
That's where
Giannis
the
50-point
one
game,
comes in.
and and uh,
And
and they're
Chris
gonna have
Middleton's
one,
got to
they're
step
gonna
up,
no
right?
they're gonna have one of those games where they
He
make
leads the team in
26
scoring.
3-pointers or something just ridiculously absurd, right? They're gonna have a game where they hit 22 3-pointers and they'll win a game because they just outshoot you, which is totally fine. I still think Miami's a better team overall. I think they're more better coached. I think they're better defensively. I think they hustle more. I think they want it more. And by the way, in the first 3 quarters of that game, they look like they fucking wanted it more, to be quite honest with you. So I think all of us have Miami going forward. That's not ultra shocking because we on this podcast have been big Miami guys this entire time. Let's jump to the Clippers and Nuggets series. Game 1 just concluded right before they're recording this podcast. They may as well not have played it. It was fucking horrific. It was fucking horrific.
Bad. It was
It
really
was-
hard to watch. The game
to
was
be- to
over
be-
by like middle of third quarter.
What?
It was
By the
not
end of the
earlier
first
than
quarter.
that,
By the end of
dude.
the first quarter. Okay, maybe like halfway through the second quarter. The first quarter, I think, ended in a tie or very close to. By midway through the second quarter, they were up by like 15 and never looked back. Never, ever, 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 ever looked back. Kawhi Leonard is a fucking demon. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so look, at the end of the first quarter, it was 31-31. At halftime, the Clippers were up 18.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Surprise!
third quarter, they were up by 24.
Yeah, when the
At
lead
the end of
when
the
the
game,
lead
they won
ballooned
by 23.
when the lead
So-
ballooned to 30, I was just about I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna turn it off.
I literally texted you guys, said, you guys want to record a few minutes early? We can go to sleep a little earlier if we start. I mean, what a fucking game. Look, the Clippers are a good
Leonard,
basketball
man.
team.
Oof.
Surprise, surprise. The biggest story that I would say from game 1 is Marcus Morris shooting 4 or 5 from 3 and having 18 points. That's probably the best game. Yeah, probably the best game he's had in the playoffs thus far. He had a really good game, one of the games against the Mavericks, followed by a bunch of attempts to try to kill Luka Doncic and take his life for absolute homicide. Didn't work. Well, kind of worked. I guess
Marcus
they are going
Morris.
home. They've already left in there. Luka's back, eating Big Macs or whatever he does on his free time. So the Los Angeles Clippers, I don't want to spend too much time on this series because I don't think there's much to talk about in this series. I think the Clippers are going to win this shit in 5 games. Anything
Yeah, I'm
more
right
than
there
that,
with
I
you.
might be a little shocked, to be honest with you. Surprise, surprise. The
Yeah.
Denver Nuggets are tired as shit, and they're also just way out of their league. I say Denver in 5. Where are you guys at that?
I'm right
Clippers
with
in
you.
5, you mean?
Denver in 5 or Clippers in 5?
Clippers in 5.
Clippers in 5. Denver thinks they're in 5. Apparently, my mind does too for 2 seconds. But yeah, Clippers in 5. Thank you for that.
Like after seeing like the big scoring outbursts of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, I was like, I had originally picked Clippers in 5, and then I was like thinking, you know what? Maybe it could be Clippers in 6, or maybe they could even take it to 7. Nah, it's Clippers in 5.
And it took you one half of basketball to realize, nope, my first thoughts were right.
Nah,
My first thoughts
my
were
first
actually right.
instinct was dead on. Yeah, for sure.
Raheel, where are you at on this one, man?
Yeah, Clippers in 5. There's no
Wow.
bullshit with
Okay, so then I don't want to just jump out of the series that quickly because that's just too fast. So we all agree Clippers in 5, maybe in 6. What has to go right for the Denver Nuggets for them to make this a series? Probably not win, but let's play the what if game. What needs to go right in the games 2 through whatever for Denver to actually stand the chance in this playoff?
Jamal
here?
Murray has to score more than 12 points.
So
Well, what about
here's
Jokic?
key
He's the
to
best
game,
fucking player
Safe.
on the
Hold
team, and
hold
he feels
Wait,
like the B.
Let me just tell you how Denver wins.
Okay. No, don't talk about the
just-
injury crap. Don't talk about the injury crap or the Corona
Can I
shit.
finish?
No, because I knew you were going in that direction.
I wasn't actually. I'm gonna finish my
It
sentence now.
sure felt like it.
They need to score more points than the Clippers do.
Is it the
That's
fucking
how
State
they
Farm
win.
commercial? It's just like whoever scores more points is gonna win.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to hell, Case.
Huh? I'm already there, buddy.
Raheel, what's going on?
Look.
What do you think the Denver Nuggets have to do to win this series?
I-
Or have
I-
even a
I
chance
think-
at this series?
Yeah, no, I think that before tonight's game, I thought that Denver, even before Game 7 of the Denver-Utah series, it was like I felt like Denver was a better matchup to play against the Clippers rather than the Jazz. I still think that okay, you have to understand the circumstances, right? They just played Game 7 exhausted, right? They won't have that 2-day break, but they're still professionals. They'll still find their legs, and they will play. I think Mike Malone will make adjustments. What needs to happen is that the Nuggets need to play their game, and the Clippers are going to be due for a disappointment from our favorite PG-13. Pat
Pandemic
Bev, is he
P?
good? Yeah, Pandemic P. Is if Pat Bev's actually going to play the entire series. I just feel like, yes, Kawhi's there, but there are some variables that can still fluctuate on the Clippers side. The Clippers can beat themselves. But I don't see, after tonight's showing, I just feel like there needs to be like a big revelation for Denver to even, come close to winning
Look,
2 games.
I don't think Denver's going to shoot 25% from 3 all series.
They won't.
No,
That's
but
just not going to happen.
No, but also, that the Clippers have like such a high-powered offense. Their depth is like bananas, and they can also
They dropped
defend it
120 tonight without
extremely.
even fucking trying. They dropped
Yeah,
120
right?
without trying. It's absurd.
Yeah, Kawhi barely played like 30 minutes, and he had like 29 points. He missed 4 shots of his
By the way,
16.
Kawhi started
Well,
0 of 3 in
robots
that
are
game.
efficient.
Kawhi started 0 of
Facts.
3 in the basketball game. 0 of 3 he started. And he finished 12 of 16. That man missed 1 shot for the rest of the damn game.
Yeah, he got a software update.
The over-the-air update.
Oh, no.
No, when
right,
you sit
look.
on the bench, they plug him in. You can see it.
Yeah.
All right, let's
He's
talk about
updating
let's talk about
Kawhi
the
OS.
series. Yeah. Let's talk about the series that Raheel is here to talk about. We're already at an hour, and I don't want this thing to go too long. The listeners are not trained after 2 weeks of doing an hour 20 with us, but today they're going to probably try. Maybe more. We'll see. The Lakers against the Rockets, which will kick off Friday night, game 1. Probably by the time you're listening to this, the Lakers will have won by about 47 points. I'm just joking. That's a joke. I'm just talking shit because I'm here to do that with
37.
Raheel. 37. You're right. No, so Lakers Rockets, probably the best or second best series in the second round of the playoffs. More importantly, it should be a fun series. Shaban, since you're the most unbiased in this conversation, give your analysis on what you plan to see, what you'll likely see. Hold off your prediction for afterwards, later in the podcast.
Well, first of all, let me just say that I fucking hated watching that Rockets OKC series because every goddamn play that Houston ran was exactly the fucking same.
So
And it
you were
was
not as
so-
unbiased as I thought you were going to be. That's on me. That's on me listening. I thought he'd be a little more unbiased.
I'm a
sorry.
Dallas fan.
coulda
What do you
gave
expect?
a better answer,
But-
dude. I literally
but
you
look-
picked the worst person to give the answer.
No,
but
the
look-
worst person would have been Raheel, but whatever.
But look,
Or
Houston
No, I'm
Houston
pretty
has, we all know like the way Houston plays, right? They just stand on the perimeter and just jack up threes and maybe go in for the occasional slash or maybe a driving kick. But the Lakers offense are like, I think especially with LeBron James on the floor, the Lakers offense are just so much more fluid. And I think that Portland series really opened our eyes because, they actually have an actual center and they also have one of the best offensive backcourts in the entire NBA, and Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum were like dropping like 30 and like 30 points a game in that series, and they still got clowned like the entire
the
time.
team only
I mean,
scored
look,
80.
no disrespect to Damian and CJ, but they are not Russ and Harden. Those guys are of a different cut and a different breed. And you know what? If the only way they do nothing is if we whisper into their ear before every single game starts, it's a game 7. Then maybe they'll suck. But if they realize it's not a game 7, they'll probably be pretty good at basketball. So my 2 cents, I think this series will be a very fun one. I think it will be the Lakers trying to defend the Rockets, getting very frustrated in many ways because the Rockets are a smart offensive team. No matter how frustrating it is, they know what they're doing and they know how to do it well. The Rockets are a fantastic three-point shooting team. The drive and kick with Russ and Harden has been phenomenal. And the Lakers will destroy them down low, but the Rockets are okay with that because their idea is you can kill us down low. We'll just make
3 for 2.
We'll just make more threes. That's the game plan for the Rockets. That's what it's been since they traded Capella back in February. We know how the Rockets play. We at this point pretty much know how the Lakers play. I don't think either one is going to change their game plan for the other by all that much, to be quite honest with you. I think they're going to stay pretty true to who they are, and then may the best team win, and that's kind of where they're at. A lot of other teams will adjust to how they play, but I don't think the Rockets will. I definitely know the Rockets won't. And if the Lakers do, it's only to guard those 2 beasts that they have on the Rockets, and that's probably where I'm at. We might take JaVale off earlier and not play JaVale or Dwight nearly as much and try to match them in small ball, which I don't know if that's a mistake or not, to be quite honest with you, but I don't know how to guard PJ Tucker in the corner, who's the best corner 3-point shooter in the fucking league. Raheel, where you at on this one? I know you're a Rockets fan. I know you're a little bit biased. That's okay. That's why we have you here. Tell us from the Rockets'
All
perspective
right, you can't
what you
call
guys are
him
going to do.
biased when you take a look at our backgrounds.
No. That's okay. But I actually, I truly do believe that the four of us have the ability to put fandom aside. I really do believe that. If we didn't, we shouldn't be on a podcast. To be quite honest with you, it ruins the integrity of the podcast.
I mean,
Which is
Skinny
why
hey,
I'm
I-
not.
has a fucking
Look,
TV
look.
show.
My fandom. I have a fucking Lakers Kobe tattoo. I should say Lakers in 4. I will not be saying Lakers in 4. Spoiler alert. So Raheel, where are you at on this
That
series?
makes
And what do
one
you
of
expect
us.
to see from the Rockets?
Okay, so first I'm going to say that the first round didn't necessarily, prove everybody else that's outside of the Houston fan zone anything else about what the Rockets can do, which is fair. It's fine. The Rockets, that Thunder was a bad matchup for them. I was nervous when they got matched up against them. We wanted the Jazz. We didn't get the Jazz. Whatever. It's fine.
What about that was a bad matchup? Explain it to us.
Okay, so they have the three guards, right? They have those that three guard lineup is very hard to maintain. Even though the Rockets play wings, they only play wings essentially. Thing is that staying in front of the three-headed monster is hard because each of them can do their own thing, and they're more versatile and making different plays. The other part was Lou Dort, right? That was a huge factor. He wasn't there for game one, and you saw what Harden did, and then you saw, even though he put up the offensive numbers, don't get me wrong, Harden did put up the numbers that he needed to in games 3 through 6, essentially. But Lou Dort is a factor. You got to put respect on his name. He's a great defender, and it's hard to get around him. Now, when I say that, as from a Rockets perspective, we wanted, and no lie, if you ask like maybe 5 out of the 6 people, Rockets fans, they'll tell you they wanted the Lakers in the second round. They didn't want the Clippers. They didn't want anybody else. They wanted the Lakers. Why did you want the Lakers? They have the two best, arguably the top 2 of the 5 best players. I get it. Thing is, I feel like we match up better, and this series will be completely different. Game 1 aside, I will say we'll probably get a similar effect of what we saw with Denver tonight. Maybe, hopefully not, but maybe have an effect of tiredness in game 1. But I think that just the feel will be completely different. It resets. They'll play their style, but they're still, although from an outside perspective, it might seem that, they just stand on the perimeter and jack up shots from Shaban's words or whatever. It's not like there's much more to it if you actually look at the way that the offense flows. I think that the key will be is what does Vogel do? What is he going to do? And like how you kind of alluded to, do you stick to what you have? You have those 2 bigs. Do you stick to them? I don't know. You probably would be smart to stick to them, or do you go and put AD at 5? Now, thing is that yes, AD is an amazing defender, but I think that the way that if we can get what we had with Russ in January and February before the league suspended, if we have that kind of Russ come back for this round, it's going to be a very entertaining series, and it'll probably give the Lakers the best test that they need going forward. I'll pretty much put it like that.
Yeah, I mean, Kaiz, where are you at on the series before we go to predictions?
So building on what Raheel said about the Rockets being better matched up to the Lakers, no one in the NBA this year played better defense on Anthony Davis than PJ Tucker did.
And
There's
the reason is because of like the thing is that like other traditional bigs, they give them space, right? They'll use their height or they'll use their wingspan to kind of stay in front of him. But the Rockets, what they want to do is they want to make you put the ball on the floor, so they're going to get right up into you. Now, AD by all means can put it on the floor and take it to the rim, no doubt. The thing is that they'll make him the goal is to make the opponent uncomfortable and make them do something they don't want to do. Sorry, go ahead, Kaiz.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. AD shot 62% against PJ Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that was the best by far of any other defender that played him. Second place was at 68%.
Oh,
so it's
shit.
ridiculous, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also,
But-
even though we have like PJ Tucker for the Rockets, like Robert Covington is no joke either on the defensive end.
I mean, Robert
don't think he
Covington
was.
arguably was their best player in Game 7 for the Rockets. I
Yes,
think he
sir.
was incredible on offense and defense. And I think that the Thunder, when they go home and they realize Robert Covington picked up his 5th foul with like 3 or 4 minutes left in the game, are going to beat their head against a wall and go, why didn't we chase this guy? We should have got him fouled out. We would have had a chance to win that game. And by the way, if Robert Covington fouled out, I probably think the Thunder win that game. I don't think that's a crazy hot take here. He was their best player in Game 7.
All
But anyway,
as I
Kaiz, you were
keep
still
going.
talking. You were talking.
Russell Westbrook averages 37.8 points per game against the Lakers. But that was peak MVP level Russell Westbrook. We don't know what he's like in the bubble. He just kind of started playing again after that quad injury. But I do expect him to do well against the poor guard play by the Lakers on defense.
No doubt.
And, James Harden's going to get his. But I will say this. The Lakers are no joke. That defense, although it's very poor against guards, is solid. And the funny thing is Vogel is actually a very good defensive coach.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some 3-2 zone in the series.
Really? You think so? I mean, look, in all honesty, the way the Rockets play their game and how they like to space the floor out, a 3-2 zone or a zone of some sort is not the worst idea. I think it's probably
I think it's just the way
my
to go,
concern.
right?
My concern with the zone is simply that James Harden and Russell Westbrook
Yeah,
will be
no,
very
I
good at
understand
ripping
that.
apart any type of defense, but especially a zone. But you're probably right. We'll probably see some version of that zone, even if it's in, 30,
Even
40,
if it's
50
not
second
a
spurts.
3-2, a 1-3-1, whatever it is.
I'm sure we'll see some type of zone. Now, I think that the Rockets will have one of their super hot games and they'll knock down 25 three-pointers, 26 three-pointers, whatever. And then they'll have one of their super cold games where they knock down 8 three-pointers or 7 3-pointers. I don't know, something absurd like that. But that's their game and they live and die by it. And by the way, they've lived more than they've died by it.
Yeah.
Go figure. So let's jump to our predictions for this series. And surprise, surprise, Rahel's picking the Rockets. But yeah, Rahel, where are you at on the Rockets?
No,
What's your
come to me
prediction?
last. Go. Y'all
Come
go.
to you last? I
Yeah,
go
'cause I'm not
last.
surprised. Nah.
I go
All right,
last.
fine.
That's how
I'll
this
go second.
works.
Let the other
Okay,
two pick.
Shaban, where are you at on this series?
I am sort of on the fence between Lakers in 5 or Lakers in 6. I might actually go
Okay.
for Lakers in 6.
Okay.
They
I'll
have
Kaiz,
say
to
where you
save
Lakers
at?
in
that.
6.
Yeah, I'm also going Lakers in 6. So I guess sure, Rahel, go ahead. You wanted your last. You got your last.
All right. If I'm being completely honest, I would like to see a full flash shoot. I want to see a 7-game series. I want to. Okay. I want to see it because I think that there's so much star power in this. We deserve it. I don't know if we'll obviously get another series after this, but I think that the Lakers will win in 7 games.
You sound so disappointed having said that.
Yeah.
You sounded
I
so
don't think
dead
you don't
inside.
even sound
I'm
sure.
being because
because
the
all your
fan
homies in
me
Houston
wants
are-
to pick otherwise.
Well, of course. Look, and to be quite honest with you, I am extremely scared and nervous about playing the Rockets because they excel in a weird way more than the Trailblazers do in what the Lakers are really, really bad at in guarding guards. Damian and CJ are really, really good. Russ and Harden just scare me more. And maybe that's because the two on that team is CJ McCollum versus Russell Westbrook, and Russell Westbrook is one of the scariest motherfuckers in the league, especially when he gives a shit, which is he always gives a shit. So this series, I think, will be extremely entertaining. It will be extremely chippy. I'm sure there will be times where PG Tucker and LeBron and Harden and Russ and Danny Green and KCP will get in each other's faces. It will happen. It absolutely will happen. And if Scott Foster is in a part of a game, assume that you'll lose and hope that it's game 1 because you say you're going to lose game 1 anyway. You might as well get the Scott Foster game out the way because he hates the Rockets, just not as much as he hates Chris Paul, but it's close.
He'll come back for one of those critical games, though. He'll find
I'm
a way to
I'm
sneak
sure he
in.
will. He'll speak his way into existence. He'll say, Adam Silver, I know what you want. I know you want the Lakers in the next round. You want the Lakers Clippers. Let me help you make it happen. And Adam Silver might say, you know what? Maybe you don't need it. Maybe the Lakers doing so good. Maybe we will need it. I don't know. But I think it will be a fun series. I think that personally, the Lakers will go up 2-0 in this series, followed by a win by the Rockets, and then another Laker win, and then a Rockets win, and then a Laker win. That's how we're getting to 6 games in this one. But I don't expect any of these games except for maybe game 1, because Rahel did say they'd be tired, and in all likelihood they will be tired. They just went through a 7-game, very difficult series. I don't think any of these games will be insanely – yeah, and I think they will all be competitive. I personally think game 1 will also be competitive because Lakers have had a week off, and the one thing I've learned about the Lakers is time off is actually not a good thing for the Lakers. We get rusty very quickly. We proved that through the 8 fucking seeding games where we played pretty good in game 1 against the Clippers and played like absolute horse riders for the rest of the 7. And that could be because we didn't give a shit because we already had one locked up. Or it could be because we had a lot of problems and we figured them out. Probably a little bit of both, if I'm being honest.
All right. So before we get off, I have a couple questions I want to get your takes on.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do
This is
it.
a bad question for this podcast because we did rank these two already. But is Jokic better than Embiid?
Raheel,
what
you're our guest. Go
criteria?
first. Raheel, you're our guest. Go first.
Yes. Yes, I would say Jokic is better than Embiid.
Defend
You
yourself.
have no argument here from any of us, but
Yeah.
please do
Defend
say
yourself.
why.
No, yes. Defend yourself.
No, I mean, I'll just say, I mean, just what, how and what Jokic does for his team is incomparable to what Embiid does. Embiid is great in his own right, but the thing is that he can't stay healthy, man. Poor guy. Like, I feel bad for him. Like, I wish that he could impact the game much more. I mean, he has the versatility to play better than Jokic because he can play inside out and he plays defense. So I would like to pick Embiid. I just can't. Can't.
I think Jokic is the epitome of inside out, but sure.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think that Jokic is a better basketball player, but Embiid scares me more on the offensive side of the floor and the defensive side. He's a fantastic defender. Jokic is not a good defender. We know this, but the thing is, like, for me, the two senses, like I said, I think Jokic is a better basketball player, but Embiid is going to go off for 40, and Jokic probably won't go off for 40, right? There's a reason why we complimented what Jamal Murray did in round one. Jokic is the best player on that team. Everybody agrees. Jamal Murray's mom says Jokic is better than Jamal on that team. That's how good we know Jokic is. And yet Jamal Murray is the reason why they're here, right? So for that reason, it's very difficult for me to say that he is definitively better. I think it is close. I think I would like Jokic on my team. I like the milk bag man himself. He is awesome. But
Milk bag man.
milk bag, he looks like a fucking milk bag. Are you kidding me? Come on. Come on.
All right, we're
I
gonna
love
move
it.
on. I don't want to have them keep going. All right, so these next are just basically you agree or disagree and give me a short answer. John Collins is better than DeAndre Ayton right now. Anyone?
Yes, right now.
Let's go to
Yes,
to
right
Sid.
now he is.
Shaban
I'm gonna say yes.
and
In the
Raheel.
context, yes.
All right. Agree or disagree? Vucevic is the most underrated big man in the league. Just blurt it out. I'm not going to ask for your answer.
I'm gonna say
anymore.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes.
I want to say no.
Who is it then?
Yeah,
I
I was
don't
thinking
know.
no.
I don't know. I want to go no, but I can't think of a guy that I would like to replace that name with. I think Vucevic is properly rated. He is a really, really good basketball player. He is not a guy I would want to pay a max contract to, and neither did the Magic because they didn't give him max.
All right. So,
Cold.
at some point in his career, Bam Adebayo will be the best big man in the NBA.
No,
No,
he'll
I'm
be
not
he'll be
gonna say
close, but he won't be the best.
You can't say it. No.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
I agree.
he'll be
on
close.
all of these.
He'll absolutely be close.
Andre Drummond is the best rebounder we've seen since Dennis Rodman.
that. I mean,
Agree or
that's
disagree?
Yes.
yeah,
Agreed.
of course.
I mean, sure, yeah, great, cool. It's led to no winning, but yes, he's a fantastic. And if you get him on your my team in 2K, you're fucking set. In real basketball, the Detroit Pistons couldn't get a first round pick for him.
All right, last one.
Any first round pick.
I
So
picked the
sad.
best for last. Giannis will not be a top 10 player of all time. Agree or disagree?
On Milwaukee.
Anywhere, he will not be a top 10 player of all time. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
All right, I
Man,
like this
that's tough. That's
Top
really
10,
tough.
bro. It's not like it's of all
He's
time.
25 and he has 2 MVPs. Do you
And
understand?
Defensive
He is
Player of the
25
Year.
years old. He is the first guy, likely, because it's not confirmed, but we basically know it's confirmed. He's the first guy since your boy Hakeem Olajuwon to get an MVP and a DPOI in the same fucking year.
I get it.
If he goes out there and wins, let's say he's 25, between 20, let's say he's got 10 years left in his life, right? In his basketball
All right,
career.
look, he answered.
25
you
to
did.
35. No, but barely. He'll be like 12 or something. because he can't. I don't think he'll win 4 rings. I think he needs 4 to be in the top 5. Currently, that could all change. It could all change.
Wait, you said top 5 or top 10?
10.
Top 10. Sorry, he has to win 4 to get in the top 10. Sorry, I think currently he'll be close. Do you have another question? I
That
like
was
these. These
it.
are fun.
But
That's
Shaban
it?
hasn't answered.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I could do this like a weekly segment if you want.
I like it. I think they're cool. Yeah, bring
Yeah,
them
we
back.
do.
I enjoy them. But we're at like an hour 30.
Well,
so
like
Shaban, hurry the fuck up.
considering that I actually made this hot take on our hot takes episode,
That's why I'm waiting for you.
I'm gonna say yes.
that is the most. I'm not super confident, but I have to stick to my gun because I'm going down with this Titanic ass ship that I will do. But it's not. Look, if this is your Titanic, this isn't that bad. Giannis is a fantastic basketball player. I don't think anybody's disagreeing. I just would like to see him be, in the finals. That'd be cool at some point. In his career.
Giannis is the most, probably the most dominant physical specimen I've ever seen since Shaq.
I mean, I don't think many people disagree with you, right? I don't think many people disagree. Shaq himself has said Giannis is who I would be if I played in today's NBA. And, maybe body type aside, that's probably mostly true. Shaq, I don't think, was ever serious about losing weight. Like, by the way, modern day Joel Embiid it's not serious about losing weight because that motherfucker does not give a shit about his health. That dude was gassed every single game of the 4 games that they shortly played.
He's chunky.
He's not. The funny thing is he doesn't actually look that badly out of shape. You can just tell that motherfucker is tired as shit going up and down the court. And that's why he cannot play defense because they need him on offense. That's that. Anyway, it has been an hour and a half. I think we've talked for way longer than we should have. I'm looking forward to speaking with all of you again, especially Raheel, depending on how the series goes. If it goes well for me as a Laker fan, I would love to speak to you. If it goes well for you as a Rockets fan, I don't know who the fuck you are, and I hope you enjoy your life.
No, absolutely. It doesn't work like that.
I know. I'm just joking. If you lose, if the Rockets win, I will come on your podcast, and maybe Kaiz and Shaban can join if they'd like to come along, and I will take my licks as I deserve them.
Yes,
but if
absolutely.
they don't, then you're coming back, and I'm giving you your shit.
But just remember, you swing, I swing back.
Anyway, listener, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you enjoy this hour and a half long or so podcast. I look forward to seeing you.
I might just put this in 2 parts.
I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon. Have a great weekend. See ya.
Peace.
Adios.